My name is Silas, and I've seen 70 springs bloom and 70 winters blanket the city of Portland. My days used to be filled with the sound of saws humming and wood dust swirling, back when I had my own little woodworking shop. I loved shaping raw timber into something beautiful, something useful, something that would last. But those days are long past now, replaced by the quiet hum of my refrigerator and the distant city sounds outside my window. I live in a small, comfortable home, filled with memories and the scent of old books and polish. Every morning I make myself a cup of Earl Grey tea and sit by the window watching the world wake up. The young people rush past, full of energy and purpose, heading to their jobs or to school. I try to keep busy, reading the newspaper, doing a few crosswords, sometimes puttering in my small garden when the weather allows. I might even take a slow walk down to the park, just to feel the sun on my face. But truth be told, my world has become a quiet place since my dear wife, Eleanor, passed on 5 years ago. We never had children of our own, and that was a quiet ache we both carried, one that grew louder for me after she left. I sometimes feel like a forgotten piece of wood, carefully carved, but with no home to adorn, no purpose left to serve. The biggest challenge I face these days isn't a bill or a broken pipe. It's the silence. It's the feeling that I'm slowly fading into the background, becoming invisible. My internal nemesis, I suppose, is that creeping doubt that my best days are behind me, that there's nothing truly meaningful left for me to experience or offer. It's the fear of simply existing rather than truly living, and the quiet despair that I won't ever again feel that profound connection, that deep love and purpose that Eleanor brought into my life. I try to fight it by keeping my mind sharp, learning new things online, even trying to navigate these newfangled social media sites, hoping to connect with old friends. But it often feels like trying to catch water with a sieve. I did try, you see, to fill the quiet spaces. I volunteered at the local library, helping organize books, but my eyesight isn't what it used to be, and I felt I was more of a hindrance than a help sometimes. I joined a senior walking club, but everyone had their own stories, their own families, and I often found myself on the fringes, listening more than sharing. My old woodworking friends, the few who are left, have either moved to warmer climates or are struggling with their own ailments, making visits difficult. I even bought a new smartphone, hoping to bridge the gaps, but mostly it just shows me photos of people I don't know, or news I don't quite understand. One day, I remember it clearly, I was feeling particularly low. It was Eleanor's birthday, a day I always dreaded. The house felt heavier than usual, each memory a new weight on my chest. I had gone to the cemetery, laid flowers, and just sat there for a long time, talking to her stone as if she were still there. When I came home, the silence was almost unbearable. I made myself a simple dinner, but I couldn't bring myself to eat much. I thought about calling a friend, but I didn't want to burden anyone with my sadness. I picked up my new smartphone, scrolling aimlessly, feeling more disconnected than ever. I was about to put it down when I saw I had received a text message. It wasn't from anyone in my contacts list. I almost deleted it, thinking it was spam or a wrong number, just another pointless distraction. But then I hesitated. Something made me tap on it, and there it was. A photo, a perfect, tiny hand grasping a finger, and then another photo of a baby swaddled tightly, eyes wide open, looking straight at the camera with an expression of pure, innocent wonder. My heart gave a strange little lurch. It was a beautiful baby, absolutely precious, but it wasn't mine. I didn't know whose it was. For a moment, a wave of sadness washed over me, a sharp reminder of the grandchildren I never had, the family gatherings I never experienced. It felt like a cruel twist, a glimpse of a joy that wasn't meant for me. I sighed, ready to type out a polite, wrong number message, and then delete the whole interaction from my phone. It just felt like another one of those moments that remind me of what I'm missing. Another little setback in a life that already felt full of them. I even considered just blocking the number, anything to stop this accidental intrusion from stirring up more painful emotions. I put the phone down, walked to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water, and stared out at my quiet garden. Giving up on trying to find connection, on trying to feel less alone, seemed like the easiest thing to do. I walked back to my phone, intending to delete the message without a trace, to seal off that little crack in my quiet world. But as my finger hovered over the delete button, I saw the baby's face again. So small, so new, utterly unaware of the world's sorrows. A small, gentle warmth spread through me. It wasn't this baby's fault or the parent's fault that I was feeling lonely. This was a moment of pure joy for someone, a new beginning. My internal nemesis, that voice of doubt and despair, whispered that it was just another reminder of what I didn't have. But another voice, softer, like the rustle of leaves in the spring, urged me to simply be kind. So I took a deep breath, and instead of deleting, I started to type. "Hello," I wrote. I believe you have the wrong number, but I must say that is a truly beautiful baby. Congratulations to you. It was a small, almost insignificant act, a simple leap of faith into the unknown. I pressed send, half expecting no reply or perhaps a terse apology. But then a few minutes later, my phone vibrated. A new message. "Oh my goodness, I am so incredibly sorry. My sister just had her first baby and I was so excited I must have typed the number wrong. Thank you so much for your kind words. Her name is Lily. And thank you again for being so sweet instead of just ignoring me." My heart fluttered. And then another photo of Lily sleeping peacefully. I found myself smiling, a genuine, warm smile that reached my eyes, a smile I hadn't truly felt in a long time. I wrote back, "Lily is a lovely name. She looks like a little angel. I hope you and your family are doing well." And that was the beginning. What started as a mistake, a wrong number, blossomed into something truly beautiful. The mother, Sarah, would send me an occasional update, a picture of Lily smiling or reaching for a toy. I in turn would send back little messages of encouragement, sometimes a bit of old man wisdom about babies and raising them, things I'd heard Eleanor say or read in books. I wasn't a father or a grandfather, but suddenly I was a digital grandpa to little Lily. I looked forward to those messages. They brought light and warmth back into my quiet days. My mornings weren't just about tea and crosswords anymore. They were about checking my phone, hoping for a new picture of Lily. I started feeling useful again, needed. My days had a new rhythm, a new purpose. I even ventured into my old workshop again, dusted off my tools, and started carving a small wooden bird, something simple that Lily might eventually play with. It felt good to work with my hands again, to create something for someone else, especially for a child I had grown so fond of, even though we had never met. I mailed it to Sarah, explaining who I was, and she called me, tears in her voice, thanking me profusely. She told me she and her husband, John, were both far from their own parents, and that my kind words and unexpected connection had meant the world to them. One day, a few months later, Sarah sent me a message asking if I would ever be willing to meet them, to meet Lily in person. They lived surprisingly close, only about 20 minutes away, right here in Portland. My heart pounded with a mix of excitement and nerves. Could this be real? Could this unexpected kindness lead to a real-life connection? I replied yes, absolutely, I would love that more than anything. A week later, I found myself sitting in a bustling coffee shop, waiting. And then Sarah and John walked in, pushing a stroller, a beautiful baby girl with bright, curious eyes looking out at the world. When I held Lily for the first time, her tiny hand wrapped around my finger, I felt a connection so profound, it brought tears to my eyes. It was a sense of family, of belonging that I thought I had lost forever. They became my family. We started having Sunday lunches, I read stories to Lily, and I even helped John with some small woodworking projects around their house. My quiet house began to feel less empty, filled with the echoes of laughter and the joyful anticipation of visits. The greatest twist of fate, I suppose, is that by simply being kind to a stranger when I felt like giving up on finding connection myself, I didn't just find a new family, I found myself again. I realized that sometimes the most unexpected paths lead to the most beautiful destinations, and that a small act of kindness, a simple response to a wrong number, can truly change everything, not just for one person, but for a whole family. Things truly do get better, sometimes in the most wonderfully surprising ways.